Yeah, I once went to a wedding and the speeches were an hour.
Yeah.
It was like PowerPoint presentations, props, sound effects, and like...
What kind of sound effects?
Oh, just like honking noises and birds. It was all related to the speech.
I just said burps then.
That would have been more interesting. But yeah, it was, so you do need a bit of control. But I always say, it's your wedding, so, you know, sod 'em, really. If you want to speak for 10 minutes. But I think ideally 5 to 10 minutes is a good sweet spot. The father of the bride was getting married to a very famous Hollywood celebrity. You'll know who it is. And they had to give a speech. They were asking for me and said, yeah, I'm kind of nervous. I'm not in my environment because I'm working with a lot of people that are like actors. Yeah. And he says, yeah, it's going to be 10 speeches. I'm like, I know. And he goes, yeah, we've got Adam Sandler's doing a speech.
It's my favourite person ever.
Adam Levine from Maroon 5's The Best Man.
Love him.
Warren Beatty's doing a speech. Wow. And like, you're like, okay.
Oh my
so
God. Yeah,
that was great.
That.
But I said, well, the pressure's...
that pressure for you?
No, because I said the pressure's on them.
Yeah.
Because people are expecting, wow, this is going to be amazing.
Yeah.
It's Warren Beatty doing a speech. But he couldn't even do the bloody Oscars.
Welcome to Wedding Mayhem. He said 3 seconds this time.
Really
threw me.
What Richard said. That got in my little world.
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for joining us again.
Welcome back. Was it an ad break?
Well, no, it was an episode break. We were on last week. It's the following week. Yeah. Have you been?
Good. You?
Yeah. Done the marathon.
She has.
Did you see my medal?
Drop that in there. No, where is it? Here she comes.
I did think about actually putting it on. There we go.
Why don't you wear it?
Have you feel it?
It's got some weight to it.
It's really, really heavy. Really heavy. So,
it's good, isn't it? It's a cool weapon.
This is the second year also that they've actually put the braille on it. Second week. Did I say second week? Second year.
No, you said second year. What, they've not always done that?
No. And it's really...
That's mean.
Yeah, well, I think so because, you know, when you're running, you know, there are people there that are blind that are running with guides.
Do you know what it says?
No, I don't. It must mean London Marathon and the day, I would have thought.
I don't know. Because I like that little saying, we finished together.
Well, yeah. And it's true. But yeah.
You and Matt Hancock.
Me and Matt Hancock. So that was, it was our neighbour that was going through like odd photos on his camera. That...
So you didn't even...
No, none of us knew.
Why didn't you wear it?
No.
Wear it, Sharon.
Thank you very much.
Come on. When do you get to wear your medal?
God, it is heavy.
Wear your medal, Sharon.
It's like the finishing line again. It was on his camera roll, and he was just going through getting rid of some, you know, older stuff that he's already posted.
Neighbour?
My neighbour.
Oh, he went and watched you.
Yeah, because his wife, Chantal, my friend.
Neighbour.
No, his wife.
You got a friend.
All right, Billy.
Billy.
His wife was running as my neighbour, my friends, and so who I roped in. And who did amazing. Well done, Chantal. And so it was on his camera roll, and he sent it to, I think it was Wednesday, going, look who it is. And I literally running into John, and he's past me, so I was actually beating him.
Yeah, that's what I said to
Yeah.
And then Sharon's put it on Instagram. She was like, Matt, if you can see this, give us a tenner. Pop it in my pot or something, you said.
Yeah,
a little Cornish style.
Link in bio.
Link in bio.
Link in bio. Oh God.
What was the other funny thing I had to say? Out of many.
What, about the marathon?
No, I haven't told you. It's really funny.
Oh my God, what?
You weren't
is
there.
This me?
No, it's nothing to do with you actually.
Oh, this is you.
Just
I was
that you're in the shop. Yeah. So someone turned up at the door.
At the boutique?
Yeah. And was inquiring about a dress, and I let her in quickly. And we were talking like really serious about the dress.
So she didn't have an appointment? Or...
No.
It's a random person.
Yeah. And as she's talking to me, she's got a call. And the only way I can describe this, because you might not understand it, you know, like when your phone announces the caller. So years ago, I don't know why I had it on, but I've always had John saved with a red heart. So every time John would ring me, it'd be like, John Redheart, like really...
Oh, yeah.
This one was like, let's just say Bob, because I can't remember the name, but it was like, Bob, aubergine, water, come all over my face. And I was like, but it was like, it kept listing, and she's like got her watch, and she's like, and it's literally she's like, aubergine water, come all over my face, and I'm like, so the dress is really nice, and I'm like, oh my God, you're marrying someone that makes you fall over your face.
So was it a message come through? Or was that
No, he was calling her. He was calling her, and then he was like, what's your reg? Because he come through and
what's your reg?
it was like, I don't even know what the emoji is for come all over my face.
No, I don't want to know.
There was one, but it was like, she had me at the aubergine, because I think that's funny, because I'm like, oh yeah. And then it was like, water, come all over my face, water. And then like a wind one. Oh, it's so funny.
Oh my God.
And I was like dying, and I was like, Georgia, you need to watch the CCTV.
No.
I was so embarrassed.
So what did she say?
Nothing. She was just like, this is my reg. And I'm like, how did you not like... But it was the way, because it just kept talking. And, and I stood there like, I haven't told John that actually.
You haven't
but
told me
we need to look out for the come all over my face emoji. You probably send it to me thinking it's a wave or something.
It's something I would
Sharon,
do.
come all over my face.
I did in the marathon group, so I ran with the guys with Children with Cancer UK, fantastic charities. The support they give is fantastic, and
Did you get a massage at the end?
Yeah, they really.
I would have just snuck in there and like put a bit of sweat on my face and be like, whoa.
No, when you come through the doors, they literally got all the bells ringing and the cheering, and people that I've run with over the years just come out and run and hug you and everything, and we're from all walks of life. So I see them once a year basically. And they're in different parts of the country, and there's this guy called Devin, and he's fantastic, but he's American, so he flies over every year, and he's sitting on your mic pack. And so he sent a message in the group going, really miss you guys, you know, love to you all, you know, my UK family and all that sort of stuff. And so I sent over, and it was late, and I didn't have my glasses on, and it was till the next morning. I woke up, and Jason had written, because I'd wrote like a little emoji.
Oh yeah,
a GIF.
Big
you know,
dick.
Yeah.
Aubergine emoji.
No, it was a GIF. And he went, is she naked? And basically it's a woman that's just blowing kisses, but she's got no clothes on underneath.
What the hell is wrong?
So I couldn't delete it. I'm trying to delete it, but it
Yeah.
wouldn't delete. And send the time difference. Devin had already seen it.
Oh no. Now you look like a little pervert.
Yeah.
Oh, you're like, yes, I am.
Oh, right, well, that's enough about us. Let's introduce our guest. He's come a long way today. Welcome, Richard.
Thank you.
You are
Where have you come from?
You're a wedding speech coach.
I am. I'm not sure I can follow that story though with emojis.
How bad is that?
What's your worst emoji?
I know. My worst.
No, that you've sent or got.
Or your most used?
I think
Most used. Ooh.
not so much emoji, but when my nan passed away, like I got sent a message saying, "Oh, just thinking of you, Richard," and they thought LOL meant lots of love, so it said "thinking of you, Richard." LOL. And I was like, so it was kind of funny, but yeah, old people texting, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, very cute.
Yeah, sorry about that. Devin.
Yeah, but a wedding speech coach, yeah. And I've come from Manchester.
You
today.
have come from Manchester. Run Manchester Marathon?
No, I feel underdressed because I don't have a medal. I have done a 10K.
I don't have a medal.
Can I?
Yeah. Here you go. Do you want me to put it on you? Here we go.
Yeah, please.
Here we go. Try not to bash you in the face with it. Here we
Feel like
go.
I'm,
So you have quite a good marathon in Manchester, haven't you?
Yeah.
It's blimmin' epic.
I thought you were
Yeah.
going to sniff it.
Save that for off camera.
You just had a little nibble.
Yes, I've run the 10K
Have you?
a few times, yeah. Yeah, it's probably not as good as time as you've done, but
No, I don't know.
yeah, I was actually, one time, the last time I did it, we were talking beforehand, I pulled my back during the race, ran about 2K, and it just felt like lightning just hit me as I'm going round. But I thought, no, I'm going to finish it. And I hobbled round, and I did 10K in 4 hours.
Bloody hell.
I was the second slowest run of the day.
But you finished it?
Yeah.
Who
So you had
was
people
behind
past
you?
me in ostrich costumes and
Oh,
you know
that's
everything
the worst.
like that.
But even on the marathon, like you're running and you're like, oh, I can't do this anymore.
Oh no, the Teletubbies beat me.
The bloody rhinos every bloody year pass you.
Yeah.
They're fast though.
Hot.
They're fast runners, but they are. It's a massive big costume. And actually, in our team, the charity group ran as camel. Husband and wife ran as a camel. They were fantastic, but their speed was really, really good. But like you're being passed by these people going, oh God's sake,
like 80-year-old OAPs.
Oh, did you see the man? It makes me cry. He's like 90 something, and he fell over doing the marathon. So he had like blood all over his face, and he kept going. It literally, and they all cheered for him. I can't even think about it. I wanted to cry, but I just think I can't even walk from my car to the school, and then there's like a 90-something-year-old man running the marathon who fell on his face and carries on. Like,
there's just something about inner strength that just pushes you on.
Yeah.
So tell us.
I best give you this back.
It's heavy.
It seems like I won a competition to me here.
I was going to say you look like a mare.
I know. Thank you for that.
I think you could be a mare.
Sharon's like, give us a tenner.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, they are running at the moment.
Yeah. How did you start?
I was a wedding speech coach.
Why did you start?
So I guess when you go to like parties sometimes, or you meet people, and they always say, "Oh, what do you do?"
Yeah.
And like you sort of think,
What were you doing before?
I was kind of working in corporate world,
Right,
in various different roles and stuff, but it's not something you really feel always energized to tell people.
Yeah.
So I thought, on my deathbed, do I really want to be surrounded by grandkids and sort of doing the last will and testament and sort of thing? What have I done? So I thought, I want to do something different. I had a background at university doing drama and communication studies.
Yeah.
And it was around the time, when you go to about 20 weddings in a year, there's like a new wedding every week.
Yeah.
And I just saw like some speeches, some good ones, but some terrible speeches. And I thought, is this an opportunity, where I can actually help people?
Yeah.
Because I'd done writing before, I'd done sort of stand-up comedy, and I thought maybe something here. So I kind of had a look around. There wasn't too much out there, and just kind of started from there, really, offering people services to help them write, craft, and coach them on sort of public speaking.
So good. And how long have you been doing it for now?
Sort of that came to me around about 10 years ago. But really probably in the last few years, post-COVID, is when it's really just ramped up. Like I think, like a lot of the wedding industry, it just went into overdrive, didn't it, when we got our freedom back. So kind of last couple of years have just been really busy. And that allowed me to be sort of full-time.
But how did you start? Because this is something that is probably not out there. It's not within hand's reach. It's something that like, oh my God, I didn't know this existed,
Yeah, people would probably just Google like to find a speech, do you know what I mean? And then probably see
Yeah. So how did you get your foot in the door in the industry? How did you convince people that this is what they needed?
I think several different arms to it, really. Got my own website, lifeisaspeech.com. Life is a Speech is the company.
Love that.
Freelance websites, sort of advertised on there. Word of mouth.
Yeah.
So like a lot of things, it just slowly started, and people would often say, like you guys, "Oh, I didn't know this was a thing."
Yeah.
And then, "Oh, I know somebody's getting married. I'll put you in contact," and sort of just started from there, and now. Yeah,
that's the best though, isn't it?
Exactly, word of mouth. It's that quality, isn't it? Really, of I trust this person.
Yes.
Yeah.
And now most of it comes from sort of the website organically. But sort of slowly started because, like you said, it's not something people have always heard of, and at times you find yourself sort of having to explain what it is because I think we talked beforehand.
Well,
didn't
we did. Yeah. When Sharon said it to me, I was just like, well, when by the time we get married, like if John can't string a sentence together after 11 years, then that's a piss take. But then when I thought about it, I was like, actually, I've given up now, but I always used to have him up for his cards because I'm quite thoughtful and I write really nice things. And John's just kind of like, love you, John boy.
Yeah, but that's like me and John. John's really good with his words, but I'm not so good with my words,
But it makes sense now because John would technically chat to you and be like, her eyes glisten in the sun. When she
she's
wakes up
had
in
some
the
Prosecco.
morning,
I'll
and her
write that one
mouth's
down.
open and she's dribbling, like she's so beautiful and I'm so lucky. And then you just put it in like lovely words. You cut out that I snore and dribble and.
No, I think you keep that in.
No, you wouldn't.
It's nice sometimes
But,
to sort of be a bit real and sort of have that light humour in that when you're doing vows and things. And yeah, like I would say, you know, it's kind of like John saying to you, well, why have you got a wedding cake brought in? Why have you not baked it yourself?
Sexist.
But you'd say, well, I'm not a wedding
Sharon
cake
come
maker.
and cook it for me.
Oh, Jesus. Like a big
You
dildo
get a
again.
professional in, so it's the same thing. I use what they give me and I just craft it in a nice, structured way. You know, some humour, some sentiment.
Is there more pressure now that we've got all these, you know, programs on where they stand there and they read their vows? We're getting very American.
People are getting so like crafty with it.
Yeah.
My God.
You know, is there more pressure now to up their game?
Yeah,
you know,
if you go on like Instagram and TikTok, you know, it's all for the gram, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's the thing, people want something that will go viral as well.
Yes.
And also as well, if you know that you're going to be filmed,
you
want to make sure you do a good job because there's nothing worse. That video's there for life, isn't it?
Yeah.
And people go, oh, do you want to see his best man speech? Do you want to see how she like really cried in a bridesmaid speech? Yeah. You want to make sure that it's good because people,
our speech is getting more personal rather than more humiliating.
You know, it really, really depends on who I'm working with.
Yeah.
And I always say, what's the tone? What's your guess like? Because certain things, if you've got an 80-year-old granny in there, you don't want to be doing too much blue humour.
Oh, I don't know. We get some grannies in.
Dirty little bitches in there.
Do you remember that? She was about 100 and something. She was one of the original.
About how holding the flowers?
No. That one. She was
funny.
one of the original seamstresses from Harrods. And every dress that came out of her great granddaughter, I think she was. She literally wanted to put a slit right up here. She went, he wants to see what he's getting, what he's buying, or something like that.
During a speech?
No, this is in the shop. She was fantastic.
Well, yeah. At
plunging
that time,
necklace.
I had the really posh nan, and I was like being like really like around her, and then we had like a little fake bouquet, and then I was like, make sure you hold it down, and the nan has just gone, pubes, not boobs. And I was, and it's never left me because it was so like
good.
not
True, isn't it?
But yeah, because so many brides like hold their bouquet up here and it's like hiding their lovely little waist. So but every time now I'm like, pubes, not boobs. But it's just so funny to hear a lady say pubes.
Yeah, but it's like reading the room, isn't it? I suppose?
Yeah, well, it is because like I write roasts if people say if it's a best man speech particularly, or even like bridesmaids sometimes, you know,
because bridesmaids now matron of honour are now getting up to
maid of honour, bridesmaids, bestish man, mothers. Yeah, it's definitely something more in the last decade. Women are feeling like, well, no, I want to speak. You know, it should just be the guy, and why wouldn't you really?
I did a speech at my second wedding.
Yeah, exactly.
Mixing it up a bit.
No, because Ross was really quiet and it wasn't his thing, and you know, and I said my son had done one as well, but you know, I had a lot of people to thank, you know, and I didn't have any parents, you know, there, so it was important me to speak. But that was no, another story, another podcast. So I think it's important for girls to say it. Is it a different kind of speech for the girls and boys, do you think?
Maybe slightly. I think traditionally, and what I find is when a woman asks, it's a little bit more sentimental.
Right.
So you sort of tone the language to do that a bit more sort of flowery, maybe you want to say, or a bit more romantic. And it depends who they're saying it to, obviously, as well. Whereas guys probably want it a little bit more funny. But I think the best kind of speech really is a bit of both, really, and making it personal as well. Yeah. What I try to avoid is just putting like the classic, even the wedding cakes and tears kind of gags in there.
I'd literally get up and walk out.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people just get a list off the internet.
Find that funny.
Of course you do. It's probably the first time you've heard it.
And I think the best humour is always like personal, isn't it? Really,
is it really
sentiment.
Hard to do a speech where you don't know the audience.
No, because I think when you've been to a lot of weddings, and you guys know, you know, kind of read the room, you know the beats to hit.
Yeah.
And no matter what speech it is, it's kind of introduction, icebreakers, you know, make yourself feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And also the guests, because the guests are nervous, because they're thinking, I hope you do really well in this.
Yeah, you do feel for like the best man and things like that. So much.
It's a lot of pressure.
Giving any speech, they want you to do well. It's not like stand-up comedy where they're going to heckle you. They want you to do well.
Well,
it depends what wedding you're going to, Lauren.
Yeah.
But
you're a heckler, aren't you?
Like I went at your wedding, I'll be like, get off! Done it before. Sit down.
You know what's put in the comments now on this. Get off.
Get off.
Yeah, you hit the beats, and then it's thanking people.
Right.
And then it's kind of, you know, maybe if you're the groom or the bride, thanking individual people. And then it's your relationship with the person you're talking about. Mm-hmm. And maybe sort of what the future is for that couple, you know, and talking about that. And then it's a toast. Sounds simple, but obviously it's a bit more complicated than that. And
yeah.
Do you give them a time frame? Are you like, right, well, you've got to get this speech in X amount of minutes?
Because a lot of venues and a lot of, you know what I'm going to say now, and Toastmasters and planners will say, they want, and photographers and video, they want to cut these speeches out. But I'm feeling that, you know, they're getting longer because more people are getting involved. So, and they're saying that, you know, speeches are a done thing now. They're, you know, you don't need them. They are. There's a lot of people talking about it, particularly because of time frames, you know, and people are getting bored through the speeches. But this is where you come in, I suppose.
Yeah, I once went to a wedding and the speeches were an hour.
Yeah.
It was like PowerPoint presentations, props, sound effects, and like...
What kind of sound effects?
Oh, just like honking noises and birds. It was all related to the speech.
I just said burps.
That would have been more interesting. But yeah, it was... so you do need a bit of control. But I always say, it's your wedding, so, you know, Sodom, really. If you want to speak for 10 minutes. But I think ideally 5 to 10 minutes is a good sweet spot, because... you have enough time to say what you want to say, and you're not outstaying your welcome. Yeah, because if you aren't delivering a good speech, because another thing I do is coach people on it, because you can write the best speech in the world, but if you're just going to be there looking at your phone talking like this and going through, it's not going to be good.
Eye contact.
So yeah, kind of, it's a whole
And do you
package.
teach them how to speak it? Like you
Sharon's like,
I have been practicing How Now Brown Cow all week. You know, but
it's not that you need to practice.
What do I need to practice?
Bespoke, everything.
I do. I don't use telepathic powers yet, but yeah, I do teach them how to say the certain things. But more for like, so I do a coaching video. I'd say if I'm delivering a punchline, for example, what's a good way of doing it is shifting your body language. Yeah. So, for example, if you were saying if it's a top table arrangement and you're speaking to the groom or the bride, is sort of setting up the joke, and then when you go in for the punchline, it's kind of looking back to the audience, and things like that just add to it.
Okay.
Do you give them jokes?
Yeah.
What's your like funniest joke, like to put you on the spot?
I generally, if sometimes people say I've got nothing really to put in stories, so I add a few sort of generic jokes that I've made myself up.
Oh, I love that.
I think my favourite one, it's a bit cheeky, is where I kind of talk about the family and talk about their upbringing and the childhood, and I'm leading down the path of saying, oh, you know, I can see so many people here, and you'll remember back to those days where Darren was crawling around on the floor and was trying to put a few words together, and, you know, little Darren was being sick everywhere, but enough about his stag do. So you kind of get them down that path of that.
It relaxes people.
Yeah, and it's a pull away.
I got a joke from my 5-year-old yesterday. Why does the ocean never dry?
Why is the ocean never dry? I don't know.
Because it doesn't have a towel.
Anyway, I have got a question from a bride.
Yes.
Regarding speeches, and again, she's like me with parents and that, so she hasn't got parents around, but she wants to acknowledge them in her speech, but she gets really, really emotional how can she combat her nerves, and how can she write that in her speech?
Okay.
Because the relationship wasn't a good relationship.
Okay, so if it wasn't a good relationship,
and everybody knows it wasn't a good relationship, but she wants to acknowledge them because she doesn't want to bring the mood down. But
totally. I think so. Two things. I think the words you should use is acknowledge them, and maybe look to something that actually empowered you. So maybe an example I've wrote for a client before who had a similar relationship, sort of how that empowered them to be their own person and how it kind of made them the person that they are.
Would they mention that they've had that?
No, I don't think you need to do that.
Words,
you can say, I thank them for doing this. So turning the negative into positive. You don't have to go into the negative talk about them.
Yes.
But then would you want to bring it up? Do you know what I mean? Would you want to bring up your parents if you didn't have a great relationship? Do you know what I mean?
Brought up by her grandparents.
Okay.
So I think she wants to acknowledge that as well. But
I'd acknowledge the grandparents, but I wouldn't really acknowledge the parents. I personally wouldn't.
But a little tip as well is what I always say: if people start kind of welling up and feel themselves, have some water on standby for a couple of reasons.
Did a little demo here, look.
Yeah, no, I've got my water now.
I was waiting for you to be like,
I know. Do you want me to do it to camera?
Yes. Take this one here.
That one?
I think this one's yours.
Is it that one?
So if you feel yourself kind of welling up, and you know that's going to come, and that's why you practice, because you think I'm going to do that, and when you're live doing it, doesn't matter how much you practice. Sometimes you think it gets you in front of everybody. Is really have some water nearby, and then just sort of take it, and then just step back and just take a sip. And why that works is because people will subconsciously realise, they're getting a little bit emotional. They'll probably reach for their drink, stop looking at you, which will help you. And also as well, it's much better to do that and actually be doing something than just kind of like, I'm sorry, and like that draws more attention.
Yeah.
So it's almost
once you go, you go.
So the water, the actual act of it, distracts
you.
you, and it also distracts the audience as well. Okay. So that's always a tip I say to people: is just have some water.
I can imagine me doing that, because when I'm trying not to cry, my lip really goes. So I'd be like, "Oh my god, that looked really weird," because I was holding.
You've done that
I could imagine just like sloshing the water.
Man behind the camera's going to have a field for day with that one.
Field for day.
A field for day.
Speech is going well.
I know. How has AI impacted you? Because we've seen, like on Married at First Sight, Arthur.
That was so funny.
I love you.
Have you seen that?
No, I haven't.
He literally got his speech from Google.
The internet,
and at the end, and he's got.
Have you seen Married at First Sight?
Yeah.
The concept. Yeah. So he's literally just met her for the first time, and he's doing this big speech, and then at the end he was like, "I love you."
It was such a pause.
It's just like you keep that out, but it was.
But it was obviously pretty
cold
and read
George.
it.
He was like, it was legit. Like,
yes,
he genuinely just didn't clock on.
No,
like that. He thought he should say that.
No, exactly.
I think AI in general is a great tool to use, definitely.
Yeah. Because there's no getting away with AI now.
But I think the problem is when you use AI, it's so impersonal.
Right.
Because I know
you can tell something's AI.
You can tell somebody because they use certain things like unwavering support and
especially when you start talking and saying it in an American accent.
Yeah. You can just see that's not you.
Yeah.
That's not John saying these things.
Right.
You can just tell, and it just sounds like really impersonal. I know people might say, well, surely using your services, but that's why I work with them.
Yeah, but
to
you
sort
actually
of get their own voice.
See the person.
Yeah.
Have a conversation.
So understand their tone. Because if somebody's kind of maybe not eloquent and just talks as they are, and they're saying all this flowery language like AI generally gives you, it's not going to be great. I always say it's good, but it's not something I think you can really replace the genuine thing with.
So when you when a couple or anybody comes to you for the first time, what is your process?
So they'll come to me. So say it's through the website. They might email me, or they might book a sort of consultation call in.
Will you go and see them, or is it done on Zoom or on phone?
Generally, it's done on Zoom or
Yeah.
Teams. I'll get a video call with them. I get to see them a little bit as well, and that's always good to
Well, you can
understand.
assess their body language too.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
it
Well,
shows-
how confident they seem
Yeah,
as well
yeah.
on there. So yeah, and I ask them to fill in a questionnaire as well, just to get a
Okay.
bit of information.
What would be on that questionnaire?
A bit about them. Depends what the role is, obviously. A bit about them, a bit about the couple, some background. How long are you looking to speak for? When is the wedding? Because some people contact me like the day before
Right.
Oh, God.
for
They try to
services.
do it themselves with AI.
Yeah,
probably,
yeah,
but
and then
this is
go,
shit.
this is
Yeah.
not good.
Yeah.
So let's
Okay.
get
Yeah,
the profession
yeah.
in. And then I sort of take what they give me and really get the vibe, what they're looking for.
Yeah.
Probably between, depends when they want it, but 10 days lead time normally.
Yeah.
And then, deliver it. And then they can also pay as well for additional packages, like I'll coach them through it. So this is how I would deliver it, or I would give them sort of tips and tricks and techniques.
That's cool.
So yeah, it's a whole suite of different packages, all the way from sort of the basic, I will write this with you, all the way to actually kind of a VIP. I'll be there. I'll even come to the wedding if you want.
Will you?
Yeah, I've done
Have
that
you,
before.
Have you done it?
Yeah.
I think they've done their speech and you're like, so proud of you.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
It's like
really?
proper. Like,
But why
Yes.
would you go there?
because
As a-
people just
Why wouldn't
get people like.
not just a guest, but would you? Are you there for a standby or?
Yeah, well, people get like obviously, and you guys probably worked on a lot of weddings and huge weddings, thousands of people. So people have you kind of on standby, and it's more like a prep talk because 5 minutes beforehand,
Yeah.
you're bricking it, aren't you? Sometimes
Oh,
The
God,
adrenaline
yeah.
want
rush as well from being
somebody
married
to
to
calm
going
you
in.
down
Yeah.
and sort of talk to you.
Yeah.
So I'd be there on standby to sort of say, you've got this.
Yeah.
Let's walk through it if you need be, etc. So
Oh, that's so good. Do you remember like the first one you done?
yeah.
Or like the first one where it's like really like it's got you or
What, in person or just in general?
well, just like
I think the first one I ever got back, a video of it, and that was great because like you're like, yeah, I wrote that, and you hear the people laughing because like you guys, you don't actually or go to the wedding,
That's
do
it.
you?
Yeah, we wave goodbye to them, and off they go,
but you
and
wanna
we see the
videos,
photos
you wanna see
afterwards.
I get invited,
photos.
but Sharon don't let me go. So
I can see why. No, I'm joking.
wow. Wish I'd written a little speech now, Richard.
I knew I
I'll
really
write it for
liked
you.
you when you turned. we have something in common.
What?
We've both been on game shows.
Oh my God, what game show have you been on?
I was on The Chase.
Love The Chase. How far? What did you get in your cash builder?
So many questions.
Me, I got 6,000.
That's really good.
Yeah,
I
that was
remember
good.
seeing you
that
on
was
it.
that was the worst
What
bit.
year
And
did
who
you do
were
it?
It was it went out March 2020.
All right.
Or was it 21? But yeah, I filmed it sort of, when we have that weird tiering system.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I filmed it like in tier 2
Is
in
it done
London.
in Media City?
No, it's filmed in, I think it's Teddington, I think it is.
Oh, in Teddington.
Oh my God, I literally love The
Yeah.
Chase.
Done
So
regular.
who was your chaser?
Paul.
The Cinnamon, Paul.
Yeah.
So I did 6,000, which I was happy with. That was the biggest thing I thought. As long as I get through the first round, because
Yeah.
that's what you fear, isn't it, when you're on a game show?
Yeah,
is
yeah,
going out the
yeah,
first
yeah.
one and everyone going, ah.
And
Yeah.
it is true what they say. You do it on the TV. Do it when you're shouting at the
Yeah.
TV. But being there is really weird.
And I thought, this is going well, because the first question was, which film has this quote? Roads, where we're going, we don't need roads.
That's I know it because they say it. No, because when you're like, why did I even just bring that up?
Because you
now
don't
I
even
can't-
know it.
It's the
We'll wait.
back. What is it? Oh no, I thought you were telling. Back to the Future,
Yes.
isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. And I actually have that like in a frame at home. So I was
Yeah.
like, this is great. And then, got through, and all of us got through. I think we got like 24 grand
Wow.
in the pot. And it was going well, but the problem was Paul is really good.
Yeah.
And he just went bang, bang, 14
Machines,
questions in a row, just getting it.
Oh. Did
And-
you choose set A or set B?
I think it was set A.
All right, I've got this thing when people go for set B, they never get through. Like they never do it. I don't know why.
There was a bit of controversy because when you go on Twitter and the likes, and people go, "Oh, Bradley sped up for the
I hear you.
chaser,"
Yeah.
and all this kind of business. And it was gutting because 5 seconds to go,
Oh.
and also as well, I buzzed in and knew the answer to one question, but someone
else
answered for
Oh,
me.
multiple things.
Yeah,
Oh, they
I'm
can
Your
like-
face was a picture.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait to go and
Yeah.
find this and watch it. I love the chase.
And,
Love it.
Well, Layla, that used to work for us, who's one of our Saturday girls, then went on and was actually one of the production assistants for Potatoes.
Small
So,
I loved Bradley as
Yeah.
well. I think he's
Yeah, he's a
so
nice guy.
funny.
He came
so
across
nice.
as nice, but because it was set like during the pandemic, really. I
Did
couldn't-
you have the little screens?
Yeah,
And
we
you
had the
to do
screens, and I had
fake-
to sort of
Oh,
and
yeah.
put a sound effect on,
Yeah.
and so I didn't get a Bradley handshake. Or anything
Oh.
like that. Yeah,
I would
but
have just gone in for it and took the risk.
Oh my god! Have you done any more?
no, I haven't. My brother does
Oh,
a lot
you-
of game shows.
What's he done?
He's done loads.
Oh,
He's done, like
can he do-
Countdown.
Oh,
and
1%
loads.
Club is my new
He's
favourite.
done that, yeah.
No, he hasn't.
Yeah,
How
yeah.
far did he get?
I can't remember. I think like went out after question 3, but he's won like quite a few things in the past, and I remember he was on one, and this is like showing my age now, but it's like the early 90s, and he won like a Sky satellite system. Which was great for me because like no one really had Sky back then, so everyone's like, "Oh, can you take The Simpsons for me? Can you take wrestling?" And I was like, "Yeah." So yeah, he's really good. He's a lot more clever than me. On
Does
these
he
things.
do like go to like do the big quizzes and
Yeah.
stuff? And yeah.
Yeah.
Because some of the questions, I actually watched the chase last night, and I was like, how would you ever know that?
I'm rubbish. I mean, I've done a few, but my general knowledge is a bit rubbish. But I'm good at random shit.
Facts. Yeah, me too.
You know, it just comes out my mouth going, and they go, how do you know? I'm like,
Yeah,
I have
I
no
get
idea. You know, it go out. But your story that you told Bradley was hilarious.
Yeah.
And he asked you what you do. Can you remember it?
Yeah, it was. So before you go on a game show, they generally sort of you get on these things because you normally have a sort of a
USP.
human interest
Yeah,
story,
yeah,
USP,
yeah.
and mine obviously was I'm wedding speech coach.
Mine's I had dinner with Mel Gibson.
Oh,
They
for God's
always get me
sake.
in on that one.
It's a good one.
It's a good one.
Good one. So I was thinking, well, I'm probably getting asked about this, so I had to write a speech for a chicken-themed wedding
Right.
because the bride and groom were really obsessed with chickens. I know.
Is this true?
Yeah.
It is true.
Yeah.
I've heard this.
And so yeah, I had to do like
Love
loads of
chickens.
puns, like best of luck, and you know, we're getting married here for a poultry fee, and all this kind of stuff. And Brad was looking at me like, you know, kind of thing. But Paul, the chaser, loved it.
Yeah.
'cause he's a stand-up comedian, so
Yeah,
So
exactly.
they both equally loved
Yeah.
chickens.
not eating them, thankfully.
No.
but yeah,
Were they vegan?
think so. Yeah, from memory. Yeah,
Ah.
I guess you probably would be.
So,
wouldn't you?
we'll obviously go back to writing speeches. So, what was their introduction to you about, like, this is the kind of speech we want? How did you get the chicken side of that?
You kind of ask them, is there any sort of unique aspect about your wedding? Because you get themed weddings, don't you?
Yes.
And I kind of ask, is there anything sort of particularly poignant or deliberate about the wedding itself?
Yeah.
And that might be a themed wedding. It might be like May the 4th is very popular.
Yeah.
Love
Star
May the 4th.
Wars.
On a Sunday
Massive
this
Star
year.
Wars fan.
Stuff like that. So people can have a theme, and so that was one of the questions. And they said, I know this sounds a bit strange, but I mean, to me, I
Because it
wrote
is strange.
How early
Yeah.
on in your career was this?
this was about 4 years ago. So I mean, now I've done over 1,300 speeches.
So it wasn't
Wow.
weird. for
No,
you.
but you kind of have all kinds, don't you, of different tastes, and
Yeah.
all the way from sort of just the back end of a pub to like a Hollywood wedding, and working with like celebrities and politicians. So nothing kind of phases.
Right.
But yeah, it was kind of like,
Chickens though.
really? Okay. Yeah, they had chickens at the wedding as well.
What was the
What
what was the dress like?
What do you mean?
Was it-
A chicken? What chickens at the wedding?
It was kind of like a country estate, so they had chickens roaming around.
Oh, okay.
And photos with the
Like-
chickens.
Like a
Could
hall
you
with
imagine
chickens.
if the bouquets were just chickens? They were just all holding a chicken on their pubes.
Did you see?
Get a
did
bucket
I
of
see that in the
KFC.
group? There's a woman walking up the aisle
Holding a puppy with
holding
the
the puppy
tutu.
with a tutu round it,
Yeah,
saying
my
the best
best
bouquet ever.
Yeah, my
Oh,
best
wow.
friend sent it to me and she was like, shit, this will be you.
Yeah, that was really cool, you know.
Oh my god, chickens.
What's the funniest speech you've ever written?
The funniest speech. I guess I like kind of like writing the roast sometimes when you're roasting.
I'd love
I
that.
had to.
I don't get the. I think it's mean.
Well,
I basically roast you weekly, and you're like, you
because
love it.
I cry when I'm in the car on my own.
I don't.
Don't say that.
Because I also write different speeches as well. Weddings are like the de facto, but I write and coach like corporate individuals in business and things like that as well. But yeah, sometimes people ask for roasts, and you kind of, it's like you see on TV, don't you? The roast of such a body.
Yeah.
And they can be really good fun.
Why? Why roast?
Well, it's only like banter, isn't it? Really, you've got to have a bit of a solid sort of stomach to kind of take it at times. But people
I did to
know
her,
it.
you would start crying.
I probably would. It's a bit mean to even say that.
There you go.
But they know it's generally a planned thing. It's not just suddenly, we're just going to roast you.
So people know about this before they do it, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, and another time I had to write for somebody's birthday party. It was a Hollywood do.
Right.
So they had quite a few celebrities in the audience.
Yeah.
So, but the person
Did you get to go?
No, unfortunately not. I was like, yeah, fly me out to LA, that'd be great.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was kind of wanting a bit of self-roasting. Very much like, you know, when you get Jimmy Kimmel or Fallon on, and, you know, it's a bit like that. He was doing that for his birthday.
Yeah.
And they had like a band playing, you know, like a famous band and stuff like that. So that was quite good. That was quite funny.
You must be like really proud.
It's nice because there's sort of, I think probably, I won't say who it is, but it was the father of the bride was getting married to a very famous Hollywood celebrity. You'll know who it is. And they had to give a speech. They were asking for me and said, yeah, I'm kind of nervous. I'm not in my environment because I'm working with a lot of people that are like actors. Yeah. And he says, yeah, it's going to be 10 speeches. I'm like, I know. And he goes, yeah, we've got... Adam Sandler's doing a speech.
It's my favourite person ever.
Adam Levine from Maroon 5's the best man.
Love him.
Warren Beatty's doing a speech. Wow. And like, you're like, okay.
Oh my
so
God. Yeah,
that was great.
That.
But I said, well, the pressure's...
that pressure for you?
No, because I said the pressure's on them.
Yeah.
Because people are expecting, wow, this is going to be amazing.
Yeah.
It's Warren Beatty doing a speech. But he couldn't even do the bloody Oscars. So remember that mistake he did?
Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
Just so funny.
But yeah, you expect him to be funny, but in that situation,
they're having people write for them too. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So people write for them. So I write for them.
And I think if you go into a competition where you're trying to outdo each other, and that, I think that's quite a thing for speeches. Yeah. You know, the best man's got to be funny. And
also as well, like writing for co-best man or co-bridesmaids. Sometimes, you know, like in the film Bridesmaids, it can be a bit like that as well.
And just one more thing.
Yeah, exactly. It's a great film.
It's so good. Film. I love that film.
Yeah, I would be that girl.
Yeah, so people do try to outdo each other, but it's important when you're doing a sort of co-speech is, do you know what the other person's going to cover off? So you kind of want to have a bit of a system where you're not both saying the same thing and thanks
So
the
would
same
you
people.
would you ask them what the speeches are? Would you need access for that?
Sometimes I write like for 2 or 3 people
in the same wedding
at the same wedding who are delivering that speech. Yeah. Sometimes it's just for one person, but I do say you don't need to know everything they're going to say. Yeah. But are you going to sort of maybe talk about the childhood? Yeah. And that person's going to talk about adult life. Yeah. How do you know each other? So yeah, you kind of get a bit of a vibe on.
What are the no's? What should you not be doing in your speech?
I guess these days it's not so much. I think
Probably
you can get away with everything.
Who was it? It was Tony Roberts. We had on with Arj, and basically he was at a wedding. He was due to sing, and the best man basically outed the groom about the stag do, about
sleeping with prostitutes.
Yeah, prostitute.
And the bride flipped the table. It's real, and then the wedding was called, like the reception was called off.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing.
He got paid, but he didn't get to sing. So he was happy days.
Win-win,
exactly. Yeah.
Bit of drama.
Get off home early.
So you definitely don't talk about the stag do.
No, and some people do and say, "Oh, it's all okay," but yeah, it's okay for you and maybe the groom, but you've got to think of the bride, you've got to think of the guests.
Because we see
like
this
bride's family as well. That she might be like, she could probably take it, but then thinking, "Oh my god, my uncle's going to be like disgusted about that or something."
I think it's like anything you wouldn't probably speak about in polite company or a dinner party. So generally,
some people don't have filters.
Generally nothing to sort of talk about sex too much. Like you said, what happened on the stag do or past relationships. Right. That's a kind of a no-no.
Yeah.
Religion, is kind of a bit controversial as well. Politics potentially.
God, if someone started talking about politics, I'd just be like, oh.
Well,
have you written for politicians? I feel you could.
I haven't written for politicians, but sometimes what's kind of a nice thing is when you get different nationalities coming in to a wedding and recognising that, and you can have fun there. So like in the past, I've made a joke saying, and we'll all get on great as long as no one speaks about Brexit. But you've got to be a bit sort of
all the world tournaments.
You've got to sort of be a bit conscious of the environment. But there's just I think it depends on the audience, as I always say, who your guests are. But I always say just check: is this okay to mention this?
Yeah, okay.
So you don't get the story you just said.
John went to a wedding and the father of the bride got up and started talking about astronomy, but it went on for ages, and everyone was just like. And then the best man got up. He was like, right, everyone's still awake or something really bad. And then everyone just roared because he just went off on one. And when apparently people were looking like, what's this got to do with? God. And he literally just it was one line. I can't remember the exact specifics, but
clever words,
and everyone roared because
clever
everyone was thinking the same thing. And then someone was like, right, now we're over that, or now we're over the teacher talk or something, or science lesson or something. You're
trying to save our arse at the same time as.
I always say it's good to ad lib as well. Did something happen on the day? Watch the other people speaking, because what's really important as well is, and people don't think about this, is what's the acoustics like?
Yes.
How do you hold a microphone? Are you going to be doing a toast? Can you hold a microphone
and
a glass?
When you hear that.
Will you be asking those questions as well?
Yeah, well, it depends on what they've asked me to do. If it's a coaching thing, I walk them through that. Yeah. I say, what's great, can you go to the venue? Or can you go to the room? And that kind of muscle memory of seeing where people are going to be sat. Because if you're talking about an individual, where they're going to be sat? Yeah. Where are you going to be looking? Yeah. So things like that.
This is why we are doing this, is because we want to be the eyes and ears, because couples don't know, like you said, the acoustics, that's such a big thing. Yeah. Has the venue got a microphone? Yeah. Is it a big room?
Do you know how to hold one?
Yeah, does it work?
Exactly.
Is it a wired microphone? It's all these things.
Yeah. No, talk about roasting. We have a game.
Yeah.
And I've changed it this week.
Oh my god.
We've got different.
While we're getting it ready, can I just ask if someone was doing a speech and because this is what I'd say, I'd be like, what do I do if I forget? I was saying that you'd be reading it, but if they didn't want to read, what would you do or if they just have a moment where they get so nervous?
Pick up that glass
during
of water.
The speech, the water. But what else for the people that have the shaky lips?
I think if you can try and memorise as much as you can, but if you do forget, what I say is have cue cards, maybe with some keywords on there, like a story, to sort of go, oh yeah, I'm on this bit, and that should trigger your memory.
Right. Yeah.
And also cue cards look a bit more classy, because some people pull out a scrappy bit of A4 paper.
Yeah. John got really neat little cards, and I was like, go on, and he had it all in order, and he was
classy.
Like, he done really well.
Yeah.
Classy.
Right.
But yeah, people do forget.
Bring on the game.
Oh god.
You've not seen all of these, are you? There's still some of the originals.
Is that your writing?
No, it's my husband's writing.
That's really
isn't it?
It's like it's been typed from a typewriter.
He's got writing like a serial killer.
Is that serial killer writing?
He's Mr. Calm on the outside. He's raging on the inside, apparently.
Lucky for you.
So you just need to give it a spin.
I know. Forget public speaking. I was more nervous about doing
this.
Why?
Yeah.
Isn't it weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
Completely out of your comfort zone.
What does it say? Give it a good tug, as you like to say on this.
You do.
Stalker. Aubergine, come on,
that's very gentle.
That was like...
Oh, words of wisdom.
You wanted the one across, didn't you? Give it a little...
That one?
Yeah. That's the secret.
something that's been very useful, and you mentioned before about hypnobirthing. I'm a qualified hypnotherapist as well.
Oh my God, I so need this.
I want to do this.
Yeah, so I've worked with clients before I did the speech writing to kind of help them with phobias and fears and, you know, quit smoking or help them get on planes and things like that.
My God.
And that's something maybe, you know, in future I can sort of go back
so
into.
Need
but
this.
yeah.
And you know, how do you do it?
Well, do you want a session now?
Yeah. Oh my God, please do it.
Yeah.
Is
it look into my eyes?
No. It's very
I'm
much
struggling to deal with Sharon. Go.
It's kind of how I say it is. You know, when you go to the cinema and you're there in a dark room and you're just looking at a screen.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You're kind of watching a film and you get involved in it. You get really into it. You're not going, oh, that's Tom Cruise, you know, and that's a body double doing that. And you really go.
For God's sake.
You really get involved in it, and that's the same with hypnotherapy. You just get people in a certain zone where they feel very relaxed, close their eyes. You're talking very slowly and deeply, and you're making
we're both going like this, aren't we?
Love it.
And then you just get them to a state with the subconscious where that kind of takes over. You're still awake.
You reprogram?
Kind of. There's things like NLP.
Reprogramming, I know it didn't come out right.
What's she saying? My dad's friend years and years ago done it to stop smoking.
Yeah.
And he come out of it and he didn't think anything of it, but he got in, I think he had a work van and he was like, what the hell is that smell? And he could smell cigarettes. And he was like, oh, and then he found a pack of cigarettes. He was like, oh, I've got rid of them. Literally never smoked again. But like, it like awakened doing a uni now, like all his senses, so he could smell it and never smoked again.
That's what you know, you don't actually think about it.
Yeah.
It's kind of almost like, oh yeah, that doesn't bother me anymore. And
what's your biggest success that you've done?
Well, I do kind of incorporate it a little bit with wedding speeches, because one of the biggest things is people have the nerves.
Yes.
Actually starting off. So we do a bit of visualization
honestly,
techniques.
It's so good. It got me through my labour. My mum could not. I'm the most anxious person ever. Hence why I was just like, oh, hypnotise me, make me calm. And I just went in like, I wouldn't say a trance, but just in the zone. And my mum was like, I've never seen something so calm. I had like weird music on and I was in the birthing pool and there was no like screaming and shouting or me roaring or anything until right at the end. But I was just like calm and I was doing all my visualizations and it was honestly, my mum was like, I don't think she's going to do this. And then she could not believe it. She was like, obviously she's had 3 children. She was like, all my labours were hell. And I remember crying and screaming. And she was just like, you were just like a machine. Like, but it's because I've been practicing for every week for God knows, 7-8 months. And I just really drummed it into me. And I think I remember one of the things I was told, and it sounds like really disturbing now how I'm going to say it, but it said something like, every time you contract, if you tense up with it instead of kind of go with it, it does it's like a wired mesh around the baby's neck. It sounds really awful, but that's all I kept thinking was like, if I tense up and panic, I could be doing something to the baby. So if I'm just calm and not loose, but like, calm and just
tell us the secret that nobody really knows about you.
I feel like you've got great things. You've been on game shows.
I think it's gangster.
Gangster, well, yeah. Can you imagine that?
Oh, wow.
Running for mayor, obviously.
Oh, a secret. If I told you, it wouldn't be a secret now, would it?
No, exactly that.
I think, okay, this is a bit embarrassing. It's a joke thing. I was in a Steps tribute band.
Oh my God, I love that.
Well, which one do you think I probably was?
H.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But it was a joke thing. The thing was, is we weren't really in it. It was like it was a fake website I put up for a bit of a laugh. But we had like producers ringing us saying, and like people saying, do you want to perform and stuff like that. And it got to a stage where it's kind of like, no, this is not real, because none of us particularly could sing or
But
dance.
did you have a video of you singing doing it?
There was video clips, like, you know, for nights out. And
you're going to have to let us have that.
It's buried in the internet.
We're going to
find
you.
It.
The man behind the camera's going to find you.
I love it.
But yeah, that was kind of...
oh my God.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Right, give it another spin. Let's ask you another
give it a bit harder this time.
feels different because it's a new board. That's.
Would you rather? Right. Obviously, you're a gangster, hypnotist, speechwriter. If you weren't doing any of these things, what would you like to be?
What, in a job?
Yeah.
I think growing up, everyone wants to be like a footballer or like an astronaut.
Well, we've talked about Accrington Stanley, haven't
Yeah,
we?
You say that, I wanted to be a lollipop lady.
Still time.
It was like, I don't know why, but the lollipop lady, like near my school, I literally used to look at her and be like, you are my hero. I really wanted to be a lollipop lady.
Mine looked like Benny Hill.
That's so mean.
And I used to think he was on TV. I'm like, Mum, that lollipop man was on. He's called Stan. Was on the TV.
For God's sake.
Sorry, it's random.
Yeah, I wanted to be a lollipop lady.
Do they exist anymore?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do they?
Lollipop men. Don't be sexist.
Person.
Yeah.
Oh, is it a lollipop person?
It's got to be a person, isn't it? It can't be a man.
Oh, but I think it's because my dad used to call me Lolly, so I'd be like, Lolly the lollipop lady. So like, I had it all figured out. But yeah, anywho, so you wanted to be someone exciting,
like probably a footballer if I could.
Yeah.
You know, and one of my teams growing up was Accrington Stanley because I'm from Accrington, and you know, people know Accrington from the advert. You don't.
Sorry.
Most people know it from the advert.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd say that's probably one.
Yeah. Anything else?
You mentioned about astronomy before. I really like astronomy.
Yeah.
And
you're like, I would have loved that speech.
Yeah. I've probably been like,
I wrote it. Can you imagine? You should have said that.
So I think anything with space and stuff like that, I just find it really fascinating.
Really cool.
Yeah, the cool stuff, the cool space.
The cool stuff. What did you want to be, Sharon, when you grow up?
I really wanted to be a policeman. My grandfather was a policeman.
Was he?
Yeah, and that's all. I think that was instilled with me.
Yeah.
You know, but or a gardener. Anything to do with outside, and I'm still like that today.
Yeah.
You know, but I said in the green room, I am stick of the dump. You know, put me in on the allotment in my B outfit, and that's it. But anything outside is definitely me. Why are you laughing at me?
Oh no, you just made me laugh.
I would have been a good police officer.
I don't think you would have been.
Why?
I don't know. Because you'd have to do the speech
The
for the rest of it. You'd literally tell them some load of shit, and they'd be like, none of this arrest was legal because Sharon
I'll write it for you.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Have you had completely lost what I was going to say?
Oh, you're roasting me. That's what you were saying.
Like your most memorable one you've had to do, or was it the chickens?
Yeah, well, the chickens is quite memorable, but yeah, like some big weddings. You know, I mentioned one earlier as well. Some of the nice ones are ones where people have like a bit of a sad story, I guess.
I was going to say, if any have made you really cry.
Yeah, like someone had PSD and they kind of really struggled sort of with their confidence, and like people that kind of maybe have had challenges. So like the wedding's like their biggest day ever.
And this is where speeches are.
Yeah, and it's kind of more the sort of sentimental,
yeah.
more the sort of, you know, and also as well, like same-sex marriages as well.
Yes.
Sometimes people want to have their coming out story in there, or something about that. So that's really nice because that's their chance to sort of say, yes, I'm here, this is me. And you know, they get sort of the attention and sort of tell their story,
and
so
get
nice.
Married as well. Like, it's a big achievement.
Yeah.
So they're nice.
You know, it's a little bit with celebrants. It's, you know, suddenly people are like, oh my god, I didn't know that about the couple. Oh, I get it now. Why they're together and I write those as well. The celebrant, the officiants. Oh, do you?
Ones and
thought about doing it yourself?
I have actually, I have.
I was going to say, you've got like the tone for it. When you started going through the hypno stuff, I was just like, can we record this?
Sending you to sleep whilst I'm doing the getting married?
You've just got that really just nice,
calm.
So it sounds like
you're
I'm
very,
hitting on you, but like
very
a really
calm.
nice, like you've got the voice for it.
Thank you.
So you're going to do a little demo for us, aren't you?
Yeah.
You're going to show us. What are you going to show us?
So I thought, you know, visualization. So this is kind of a little tip really, for people.
What's she done? You've broken.
Broken the lights.
Oh, I haven't the light.
So yeah, like something you can do before you go up and speak, really.
Oh, okay.
And you can apply this in any situation as well. So,
Before I get in Sharon's van.
So.
I'm not going to die. I'm not going to die.
So we can do it sitting down,
Okay.
actually. Do you want to do it now?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
We put our cards away. Hold on. Let's put that there. Right, we're going to hit each other all.
Put your medal down. Jesus Christ.
It's really heavy.
So get yourself comfortable, and don't worry, I'm not going to hypnotise you.
Push your legs up here.
I lay on you.
Yeah.
Not therapy.
Today was a really bad day. Sharon tried to kill me again in the van.
Oh, I did.
So-
Yeah, on the way here, it was literally, she went, that way.
So
Right.
I'll give 2 tips then. One, if you're feeling nervous, and people can use this if they're getting on a plane or something they feel like quite anxious about, is if you just close your eyes and if you just scrunch your hands up and your feet as hard as you can, and just hold it in place for like 5 seconds. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let go. And doing that will help your nerves and help you sort of center yourself.
That's really
Okay.
good.
Yeah. And another thing you can do by yourself is shushing. So if you're finding
You do that to me all the time.
Do it to me.
a lot of thoughts going through your mind, and you think,
Quiet
you know,
noise. Yeah.
you know, I need to sort of calm down,
That's me.
Yeah.
kind of thing. It's just shush yourself. So again, close your eyes, and you can say this in your head, but you can say it. Might be better if you say it out loud. But you start off with sort of 5 quick shushes. So shh, 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 and then you go into 5 slow shushes. So shh, shh,
I was going to be like a whistle because I'm going to sleep.
and then that kind of helps you calm down as well.
Yeah, I like
So you feel a bit more relaxed, don't
that.
you?
Yeah, my eyes are going.
Yeah,
I
I
remember
had to go
once,
sleep.
I've had so much CBT and stuff, so I've learned all like grounding techniques and stuff. I remember being in a queue at a petrol garage, and just this wave of anxiety hit me, and I was like, great. And it was like 5 things you can see and all of that, and I was in such a panic I couldn't do it. But I can just imagine myself like someone in front, like behind me in the petrol garage, and me going, shh, 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 shh. I'm thinking, shit.
I do. I'm a really. I had an accident on the motorway, and it put me into a really bad position. But then I overcome that. It was fine. And then.
Is that why you won't go on a motorway?
Yeah, I had a car.
That makes sense.
I had a car flip over right in front of me.
Wow.
It got out of it fine, but we were all,
Yeah.
and it was just hailstones down, and I thought I dealt with that, and it was fine. It was actually through a bit of a trauma that I was going through at the time, brought it back, and I was literally on the A3 with my son in the car, and not being able. Like, I need to stop the car in the middle of the motorway. And it was actually Matt that guided me off. He was fantastic by literally doing, first of all shouting at me, go, "What the hell are you doing?"
Yeah.
I thought you said he was a baby then. I was
No,
just like, oh my God, he's
he
clever.
was late teens, but
Oh.
he did what, he talked to me calmly, going, and I literally was at 2 miles an hour going off and off and off. But that was the sort of technique that he used to get me off, and and I sort of do that sort of thing.
It's crazy how powerful your mind can be.
Yeah.
And can
Well,
trick you
going
in.
back to the marathon, exactly that.
Yeah.
You think you can't do it, and like you said,
Yeah.
you had to do
You
it.
do.
Yeah.
You just do it. That's fantastic. I'm gonna use those.
Thank you, that's really good.
Well, 'cause
I
have-
think I'll do them in my head because people may just be
Yeah.
like, what is that woman?
Because I get nervous, and then I just talk.
Number 4, please.
And I just talk about random shit comes out of my mouth, and I'm like, oh God, what are you saying that for? You make yourself look like an idiot. But it's to fill a gap.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what to say or what to do with my nerves.
Another thing as well, because I can do that as well. It's kind of it's called anchoring. It's kind of anchoring, where you kind of squeeze like maybe your thumb or you pinch yourself, and it's almost like that's
this one here.
like that. It's kind
Yeah.
of sort of like just keep calm, just keep still.
Yeah.
You don't need to talk. You don't need to fill the gap.
Yeah.
So there's loads of things like CBT is good for that, and but I work with clients on that sometimes with the wedding speeches, do a bit of NLP it's called, and just really visualization, neuro-linguistic programming. It's kind of what we just did then.
Right,
that's very cool.
Yeah, that would definitely help. Because we see it when the girls come in, pick up their dresses, and actually by that time some of them are really quite calm, and it's the parents that are like, I had a mum yesterday, literally I was holding her hand going, right, be fine. I said, this is why they've got wine on the table, this, and I said, just think about it and just take some deep breaths,
Well, that's the thing with my service as well. It's not just writing a speech for you.
Yeah.
It's the whole shebang behind it, because it's like saying to you, oh, well, it's just getting a wedding dress, but no, it's the whole,
We're not just a shop.
working with them, trying to make sure they get the right style, calming them down, and, almost being their friend in that situation.
Yeah.
What do you always say? We hold your hand all the way through.
We do. We're always there.
Just not allowed to go to the wedding.
How much do you cost?
So it ranges. So I work worldwide as well, and so it depends which country. In the UK, my starting price is £175, and that's for the basic package. And then it kind of works up to this sort of the prestige package, which is like all bells and whistles, WhatsApp and coaching and stuff like that. And that's around about £500. And obviously there's additional packages.
Because I do think that, so much at the beginning is important, like getting the venue right, getting the dress right, getting the flowers out, the aesthetics. And then you get it today and it's like, oh. So I think you need
people remember when they leave a wedding. One of them is a speech all the time. You can have really nice flowers and a really nice cake, and that's all good. But do people remember that?
Oh, they remember the entertainment, the speeches, and
do you remember Louise's speeches? Oh, it was great. Do you remember John? So that's the bit.
Even with people with memories.
And then they have the video as well. So
Are your clients mainly male?
It's changing. It's changing. I'd say 70% are male. But it's changed over the years. A lot more brides, and I'd encourage people to speak. Really, bridesmaids feel more empowered really to speak.
Is this down to the reality shows that we're seeing?
I think so. Yeah, I think very influenced by things like Say Yes to the Dress, Married at First Sight, Don't Tell the Bride, all that, where they see that happening. And, I'd like that.
So giving people a license, a permission to do it.
Yeah, and very led by America as well.
Yeah.
In the UK, isn't it? That comes in. So. Yeah, and I think really more female empowerment, isn't it? As the years go on, it's allowing them to speak. So I think the traditional father, the bride, groom, and best man, that goes out the window a little bit now.
Orientated,
it's kind of anyone who wants to speak. In Scandinavian countries, they have the situation where anyone can stand up by the table and give a speech.
I love that.
Which is great. It can be dangerous, I imagine, but
because you have no control whatsoever.
Exactly. So
can you speak any different languages? Do you have to learn any if you're worldwide?
I think it's a nice touch is when you might say hello or do the toast. So,
Bonjour.
Yeah.
I knew that was coming.
They're Romanian.
That's this week's episode.
So I think that's a nice thing, especially if you are in a different country. Or like you might do sort of like, if I work with Irish clients, a bit of Gaelic, or
my nan spoke Gaelic.
If you getting married in a different nationality, like I work a lot of Indian weddings. So if you speak a Hindi or something like that, I think that's a nice thing just to do the toast or introduction. In that, it just shows you've made the effort. So I don't know the language. I had to Google that, but
I had to do my mum's eulogy. I want to say, is it a eulogy?
Yeah.
And she's Indian, and at the end, I put in goodbye,
that's a nice thing,
in Indian, But my God,
Did you say it right?
I did say it right. Well, nobody had a clue anyway, because so I could have said anything, Isn't it when you go abroad and you decide that you're going to, speak in the language, and you're asking like, the nearest place to a strip club or something,
Oh,
and holidays are you going on?
Oh my God, it always
I'm asking the nearest restaurant, and I'm coming out with all sorts of.
Whenever my dad was in Spain, he'd go, gracias, like.
And then they speak back to you in English anyway, don't they?
Thank you.
Well, it was really weird because when I was married to the first husband, whenever we went on holiday, he looks quite German, and he's from a Manchester boy, and And but they would talk to me in German as well. And him, we both sit opposite each other, and I'm going, I've got a clue. But luckily, he worked in Germany for a few years, so he could talk a little bit. But it turns out actually that my dad is German, so
they knew.
They probably knew, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
No, like she don't look like she's just from Cornwall.
Well, we went to Germany last year. Was it last year? Yeah, last year. And everybody's like, "Oh, her dad's German." It's a new thing because I found him 2 years ago.
Okay.
And they then start talking to you in that language. So you've got to be careful when you say something in a speech that is
Do you know how to say hello in German?
No, nothing. I have.
Were you just like? Blowing your kisses. Bonjour.
If all else fails, just say bonjour and pick your
The trick is to say I don't know much. So like in German you say mein Deutsch ist nicht gut. So you say my German is not good.
That is so good.
And then people know.
Sharon, now you say it.
Oh, mein Deutsch not good.
Mein Deutsch ist nicht gut.
Why did you just double chin me? That's pretty up.
You're like, closing your mouth.
Chubby.
Oh, that's funny. Where can we find you?
So I'm on the usual socials. TikTok.
And it's Life is a Speech.
Lifeisaspeech.com is my website.
Yeah.
My email
and
address.
You've got a podcast.
Yeah, I've got
Yes.
one. Oh, yes. Sorry, tell us about your podcast.
So I've got a podcast, which I do with my co-host. It's called A Groom with a View.
Yeah, great title.
And really, it's aimed at the men.
Yeah.
Because obviously weddings are generally female-centric, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's really...
Well, we see it at wedding shows.
Yeah.
I said to you, literally, we had it
Guys are
men
walking
just
this
around.
Sunday.
Yeah.
The guy's on his phone checking the latest score, and she's picking up all the leaflets.
Yeah.
And this guy was like, "Oh my god, it's you're off the TV."
Just do the
you know?
classic, like I've just been told the date and when to turn
That's
up.
it. Yeah, exactly that. So that's
Great
good
bit
that you're
for
doing
Yeah,
it for
so
the
it's
grooms.
kind of a podcast where we get guests on every week, kind of like you guys, and sort of they talk about what their field is, but with a centric aimed at men and like trying to encourage men. So we've had, the classic sort of photographers on there, tailors, etc. But people like dog sitters and like fun ones, and also as well serious ones. We had someone talking about mental health.
Yeah.
And it's there really for anybody to listen, because what you want to do as a man is you want to feel like I actually know what's going on. Like you said, it's like more than just where the venue is and what the date is.
Yeah.
So because it's a lot of pressure often on the woman.
Yeah.
So you want to feel like...
I think the women feel that they have to do
Yeah.
it because the men are not interested. I don't think it's that they're not interested. It's the fact that the women, the moment they get the ring on the finger, they are off.
Yeah. I think men are probably thinking, oh God, I've got to pay for it.
And a lot of people don't know. You know, they
well,
have
it's
no
the fear
idea.
of the unknown. It's like, I don't know where to start.
Yeah, so this is kind of a way that they can secretly listen, if they're in the car or whatever, and
have
be
an
like,
input.
and then be able to say to
a little input.
and say to their partner, this and this and this, and feel a bit more empowered and more involved.
Yes.
So it's
a voice.
Yeah, a voice.
Yeah.
So it's kind of looking at them.
Love that.
I need to come to you for a week.
Yeah.
Sort me out.
Yeah.
Hey!
What's that?
Bit of innuendo.
So you've got a podcast, and that is called Room with a View.
A Groom.
Did you
with
just
a
say
View.
groom with a view? For God's sake, Sharon, that's where the thing started. But it's groom with a view.
It's a clever play on words.
It's very good.
It is.
It's so good.
It is. I have got it on my card.
Please, can you send us a roast of Sharon like one day?
Oh my god!
And I can
write us a roast
for each other, and then
we'll do it.
We'll
do it in here, and then we'll put it out and tag
that would
you
be
in.
really good.
Okay.
Oh dear!
Be careful what you ask for.
Just be careful what you ask for. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you for
Have you
having
had a good time?
me. Yeah, it's been great.
I've got a little gift for you actually.
Oh, thank you.
Before I forget. So we've chatted. I'm going to miss chatting to you.
Yeah. Well,
So
keep in touch.
you told me some secrets.
He's just like block.
No.
Oh no, I don't
Who are you?
Coming inside out. So your very own
wow,
mug.
Thank you.
Okay. And you've got a long journey back home.
I do. Oh, thank you. See,
What is it?
you did listen.
Oh, is it
Fancy.
controversial.
One for each
No.
hand.
Oh,
There you go.
Well, the best thing about these is like nobody wants them. So
No, I hate
like,
bounties.
in like
Me,
celebrations.
literally, we were going through the Christmas quality streets, and John went,
Yeah.
"We're just going to have the strawberries left," because we both go for the
Yeah.
Oh.
No
controversial.
Yeah,
The
but
dark
nice.
chocolate.
Matches your mug.
They've got
It
rid of the
does.
dark
And
chocolate
shirt.
one.
It does.
They've got rid of the dark chocolate.
Have they got rid of the tray as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had one.
I don't drink this in the car.
Thank you. Oh wow! Thank you.
What is that? Is that tequila?
It's his favourite, yeah.
Oh, look at the little hat.
A lot of people don't like tequila, but it's like any spirit.
Yeah.
When when you're like younger and you just drink anything to get drunk.
Yeah.
And like the same for tequila, people just and then. But if
like,
you have quality spirits like quality vodka, it tastes so much nicer than just cheap. Same with tequila.
I'm told the woman in the shop when I went, I needed tequila. She went, "You have to have this one."
Yeah, this is good
not the
stuff.
white one.
Yeah, this is the one that you can drink just as a shot rather than as a shot rather than mix. No, thank you for that. Really kind.
You did us a huge favour.
That's okay.
Can you ask everybody to subscribe?
I will.
And
this will probably be like the best speech one we've ever had.
Oh yes.
Oh.
Into this camera.
Right, what do you want
into
me
that
to say?
camera.
What's that?
Just ask everybody that's listening to subscribe to the channel because that helps you, and it also helps us as well.
Okay.
Help you.
So, had a great time today. If you can all just subscribe to the channel, like and comment, that'd be great. Had a wonderful time and hopefully it was very good for you too.
Yay!
Well done.
Say bye. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Wow.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
No,
We
no.
can't